Okay, welcome back everyone. So we can, I think, begin with the session. Most of the participants are here.
Thank you.
So today we have already completed the swar vyanjan. Now we are moving to matras. So we will learn matras today, and from here onwards, I would suggest that this regular practice is needed now because henceforth, after the matras are over, we'll be moving to the special rules and the classification of Sharada letters. So now from here onwards we will need some regular practice, so make sure if you're not attending the live classes, you watch the recordings and do the practice and assignments regularly, because once it starts piling up it becomes little difficult to cope up with the all the rules. Okay, so to begin with, the first matra that we had already discussed when we were doing the conjuncts, the sanyukta akshar, kshatra and gya. So I had mentioned a little about the halant. So basically halant is, for example, I'm writing a letter here. This is na in Devanagari lipi. When I'm using a halant here, this is the halant, that the slant line at the bottom of the letter. So if I'm representing this in Sharda, so this slant, this line on the top of Shirorekha and this vertical stroke here and then a small stroke here at the end, towards the end, this is the halant in Sharda lipi. Okay, and halant, what halant means basically, as I mentioned earlier, all the consonants, all the vyanjan from ka to ha, they are all dependent on the sound of vowels to complete them. For example, na can be pronounced as na only when the sound of the sound of vowel is attached along with it, and the letter becomes complete na. So this rule goes for all the consonants, whether it is ka, ga, kha, anything. All the consonants will have this rule. They are dependent on the sound of the vowel a, the swar, to make a complete letter. Whereas the vowels, the swar, they are independent of any other letters or any other consonant. So that is what the halant basically is. So here when I am putting the halant, I am using the halant here, means that the na is pronounced, the na we are using without the sound of this a. That is half na, which you denote when you write it when you make the words out of this particular letter. This is how you will write na in Devanagari lipi, correct? But earlier mentioned that in Sharda lipi we do not use the half letters. There is a separate rule for it, which we will discuss in length. But this is just how we write this half na in Devanagari lipi. So I'm going to erase this here. So this is the first matra, halant. Now the second one is matra a. I'm writing the Devanagari matras first. So this is matra a in Devanagari lipi. And how do we write a in Sharda? I'm writing the complete akshar first. This is a in Sharda lipi, and the matra for this a in Sharda lipi is this. Now the difference, if if you look closely, the difference is here the stroke is complete. We get it all the way to the end here, and here if you see, it is here. We stopped in between. So if I'm using with a letter, for example, I'll use it with the letter N. If I have to write Na, this is the matra A that I'm using behind the letter N. So this is how we represent matra A in Sharada lipi. It is not the stroke is not complete. We stop it here in midway. That is how we write A, matra A. Now one more thing before I proceed, I will only be using the matras with only few consonants here. For example, N or maybe the, and not all. The reason behind that is because we have certain consonants which follow a special rule, and the matras, when we use the matras with them, they are not used. These are the basic matras what we are learning today. So we have some special matras also which we'll be learning in the coming classes. So there are some letters which do not use matras like this. They have some different rules of using the matras along with those letters. So that's why I'm only using it with N and few other which I will explain, N or probably the also, and not all. So whenever you are practicing also, please use them with only N and the, and whatever I show in the class, do not try to use them with any other letter that I'm not explaining in the class. So here it is matra A. Next one is matra I. This is how we write this in Sharada. The matra for Devanagari. This is how we write matra I in Devanagari. Sharada matra is almost similar. You won't find much difference here. Probably the only difference I would say here is that this angle, that this matra that we attach here, it's a little more wider. In case of Devanagari, we make it very narrow like this, but in case of Sharada, it's a little more wider if you see, and little oblong. And I'm using it with letter N. Here. We can use it with the also.
Can you please repeat this starting from E when you started this line, please?
This particular matra?
Yes, please.
Okay. So this matra in Devanagari, we write it like this. It is more narrower here in case of Devanagari lipi. And here if you see, although there is not much difference, in some of the text you will find matra written like this as well, the narrower. But we prefer using the matras a little wider. So if you see the difference, that's the only difference in matra, Sharada matra and the Devanagari matra. This is more wider and little oblong, and this is a semicircular kind of a thing and little narrower. That's the only difference. And this is how we can use it with N and the. You can also use it with let's say with Ch. And when we are putting this matra, make sure that it is not covering the entire letter. Okay, so it can be on in this on the top that I'm making this shape. It should stay before the word is ending, before the letter is ending basically. So what I mean by that is, do not try to make it too wide, the upper stroke. It should not be made like this. Okay, so try to keep it within the where the letter is starting, or little beyond that also you can go. For example, here in the case of the, you see it is ending where the this stroke is starting. Okay, I'm not taking it all the way up and making it like this. So don't make it too wide also. So this much length is fine. You can keep it like this. So this is matra E. The next one is E. The matra E in Devanagari is written like this. Similar way it is written, very similar in Devanagari, Sharada lipi also. Just again the same thing, this shape on the top is little wider, and if I am using it with the consonant N, let's use it with the also. Again, on the top, this shape, do not make it too wide like this. Avoid doing that. But make sure what you're drawing on the top is visible. Right? It should not be too small also, and not too big also.
Can we please have some word samples with these, when you're saying no, ni, or the, or chi, whatever? So can we have some sample words with it, just for
Yes,
understanding?
sure, sure. So let's see some word, for example. I'm writing neer. So this is neer, n-e-r. Now here, if you see here that I have not joined the Shirorekha. The reason behind that is in Sharda lipi, when we are forming the words, we do not join them with a common Shirorekha. We the every letter, every consonant has its own Shirorekha. For example, if I have to write now a 4-letter word, this is L. I'm going to write Neelam. So M would be written separate. So there won't be any common Shirorekha joining the word. And now, for example, you'll ask, then how do we differentiate between the two words, two separate words? So that the only thing that you can do is keep a wider space in between, keep the distance more. So for example, this is Neelam, and then I have to write, for example, say, sir. I'm not writing the matra since we have not learned it yet. So this is sir. So this is how you'll keep the distance in between the two words, but you will not join the entire word like this. Anyways, mer doesn't have a Shirorekha, so we will always keep some distance, little distance here, but will not join them with the common Shirorekha. So if you are forming some words along with the matras, using these matras that we are learning in the class today, make sure that you do not join the words. Only the matras would be joined. For example, now I showed you no. So you cannot write matra separately like this. So this is incorrect. Matras would always be written with the parent letter, because here na and na e. If you are writing the, it would be here the e. So matras won't be written separately, but the words, individual, the letters would be written separately. Now we have u. This is the letter in Sharada lipi. The matra in Devanagari is written like this. Matra in Sharada is written like this. So there is this small vertical stroke, then you form a triangle, the right angle triangle at the bottom. This is matra. Oh, I'm drawing it again here. This is matra U. Now this particular matra that we just saw, matra U. So this is the basic matra that we are learning today. There are some special rules and special ways where we use the matra in a different shape also. So there is one way of writing matra U like this as well. Okay, because when we share the reference material, you will see both the matras there. So this also and this U also. But for now we are only learning the usage of this, the basic matra. This is a special matra that is used only with the special letters, which we will take separately. So I'm just showing you here because you will definitely see in the reference material, and so that you don't get confused, I'm showing it. This is one special matra used with only special letters. For now we are only using this, the basic matra. Again using it with na. So here this first stroke, this vertical stroke, it will definitely get merged because it already has a vertical stroke here. So this will get merged and then you have the triangle left here. So this is na U. You can write, if you want to form a word, I'm just writing a random letter behind it. La. Okay, so this is how you will form words. Na U, la. And for example, the. Now why am I showing it with the? Because the doesn't have a vertical stroke to attach the matra to it, correct? How we had this vertical stroke, we had the support of this particular line to join the matra. Here we don't have it, so we will use the entire matra like that. This first the stroke, a very small symbolic stroke, and then a small triangle at the bottom of it. So this is the U.
Ma'am,
Just
these
promise.
matras will go beyond the 3 lines, right?
Yes,
Suppose we are
definitely.
drawing it.
Yes. So matra, whatever we have seen, like all the letters used to fit within the 3 lines, barring few. So here the matras will go definitely beyond the line.
Okay. Thank you.
Please write U with ch.
With sorry, I didn't catch the letter. Which letter did you mention?
Like ch.
Okay, ch.
Ma'am, please write U with ch.
So this is ch. Here, towards the end of the letter. You can go a little towards left, more towards the left side also. Next matra U. So this is the matra how we use in Devanagari lipi. For Sharada lipi, again a small vertical stroke here, indicative stroke, and then we have a little longer line like this, which is slant. I'll draw it one more time. First a stroke here, a very small one. Then the next stroke has to be bigger, and there is an angle here. This is an angular stroke that I'm drawing here. We'll draw it again. First this, and then this one. The second stroke has to be little longer. This is oo. Now here in this case also, as we saw, or in case of oo, we had two ways of writing oo. Here also you will find one more way of writing matra oo, which is like this. I'm not going to explain this matra for now. This is a special matra. This is another way of writing matra oo, only with the special letters, which we will discuss later. For now, this basic matra oo, I'm using it with na, and if you have any suggestions of using this with some other letter, we will do that. Again, this has a vertical stroke, so it will merge, and we are left with this stroke. And if you are using it with the, we'll attach the matra here, a small stroke, and then this. Let's do it with cha also. Same way. I'm using it with pa as well. So I'm not putting the matra exactly in between here in the center, just slightly away from this on the right hand side.
I have one question. Suppose we write it with cha, u. How will we differentiate between ka, u and cha, u?
Yes, a very good question. Thank you for asking this question. So this is, I'm writing it with cha for now. This is cha. You will attach the matra u like this. Sorry, u. Now when we have ka, as if you remember in the previous class, I mentioned that whenever we use ka along with any conjunct or anything else that you write along with it, it is always written like this. So this is one difference. It will never be written like this when you are attaching another letter with it or a matra with it. If you are attaching a matra with it, this will definitely change the shape and be written like this. If you're writing a conjunct with it, any other letter under it, it will change in, the shape, the basic shape, and it will be written like this. So this shape is not used when we are using a matra or using it along with other conjuncts. So this is the shape it will be, which will be used. And another thing is the matra. With ka, we do not use this matra. So ka belongs to the special category which doesn't use this matra. So that's why we are not using the matras with ka and few other letters here. So with cha, definitely when you see this word written like this, it is definitely has to be cha, because ka doesn't follow this rule. Firstly, the shape, the basic shape changes, and the matra is not written like this. So that was a good question that you asked. So this is oo. Now the next matra is re. Matra re in Devanagari lipi is written like this. In Sharada lipi, we just face it upwards and write it like this. So if you are using it with na, it will be written like this. This is na and re matra at the end. Similarly, if we are using it with the, as we have used the other matras here, so this will also attach here, and this is dre. For example, you want to form a word. This is g, drink. This is p. So the next is re, matra re. There are one extra stroke in Devanagari lipi, which is written like this. This is matra re, the basic one that we just saw earlier, and then you attach one more stroke to it, like this. So this is matra re. You just have to add one more stroke here. Like this. So the second stroke can be a little shorter as compared to the first one. The length can be a little smaller.
What is an example word for this?
See, I had mentioned in the beginning when we were doing the vowels that these particular letters, these three vowels, re, and re, they are used majorly in Sanskrit. That too, in the classic Sanskrit, you will find these words, and usually in Devanagari we don't use these matras. And so far we have come across these matras, these particular three matras, just once. Re and re we have seen only once used in one of the shlok. I actually forgot to show forward that shlok in the group, so I will do that. I'll find that today. I'll search it and I'll share it with you. So that is the only shlok that we have found as of now. I mean, we have not read all the manuscripts, but very rarely used matras.
Thank you. So which matras? So you said three matras, right? Re, and which
No,
was the
not
third
re.
one?
Re is commonly used. Re is very commonly used that we saw before. This is re.
Mhm.
Re,
Re,
and the
okay.
next two after this, l and re.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you.
So we used it with na, we used it with the. Now the next one.
Sorry, can you please go to the last one with mo?
You mean this matra with ma?
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
This is with ma.
When we write it in a three-line thing, the re. So is it slanting or it can be in the same line?
This one, right?
Yeah, is it like downwards or it can be in the same?
It is actually in the same line, but a little slant. Or even if you make a little slant, that's all right. But it's usually written in a straight line here. So it might appear to you a little slant. Yeah, here it is a little slant, but that's all right. That slant is okay. But I just try not to make it like this. It should be actually in a straight line like this, how I did it with ma. And this much is also okay because there is very less difference here if you see. But this is a complete slant. So this we don't use it like this. These three are okay. This is how we write re. The matra for this particular vowel in Devanagari lipi is like this. So Devanagari, we don't use it in Hindi, we usually use it in Sanskrit. So you won't find the usage of these matras in any Hindi text. So this is the Devanagari matra that I have written here. For Sharada, the basic shape remains the same. We draw these two loops. Now the only difference here is this. Here it was like this. Here it comes in the straight line, and we make it like this. So this is all in a straight line. So when I'm using with, just give me a second, 1 second. Yeah, sorry. So with no, we will use it. So make sure that this is all in a straight line.
Ma'am, can you just show the again?
Here.
Okay. That's
The next one is re. This is the Devanagari matra. It just has an extra stroke at the bottom. Rest all remains the same. Even for the matra in Sharada as well. There's an extra stroke behind it. So when you draw this particular matra, this can be a little up, and this, see here, I'll show you. If you are writing, so this will be at the bottom, and this will go a little on towards the top. You can see the difference, the distance between this, the bottom, and this. This is how you will write this matra. This is just I'm drawing for the reference. Though it is in a straight line, but the last two strokes are lowered, and these two go a little up towards, upwards. Why I'm showing it with no and the is because now if you see there is a vertical stroke here, and you already get a support to fix the matras along with this vertical stroke. And as you see, it doesn't have any vertical stroke, so that's why I'm showing with it, particularly with so when you don't have any support of the vertical line, how to use the matras there. Next one we have is A. Devanagari matra is written like this on the top of the Shirorekha. And Sharada matra, this is the Shirorekha that I'm drawing, and this is the matra on top of it. So matra can be little shorter in length as compared to the Shirorekha. So the top, this one is Shirorekha matra, and I'm just writing na here itself. So this is ne.
As it to be the equal in length to that of Shirorekha, or it can be shorter also.
That's what I mentioned, that the matra can be a little shorter as compared to the Shirorekha. So even if it's like, if I'm drawing it like this as well, it's not incorrect, but even if you make it a little shorter is okay. So preferably it's drawn a little shorter as compared to the Shirorekha. I'm using it with one more letter because this particular matra, although it doesn't have any special rule, so it can be made with all the letters, all the consonants. This one doesn't follow any rule.
What about letters which do not have a Shirorekha?
See, some of them, like for example ma, I'm mentioning it here, ma. So this matra that I'm talking about right now is A. This doesn't have any special rule. So this would be written as it is with the letters without the Shirorekha as well.
Okay.
This is I. Same goes for this matra also. This doesn't follow any special rule. I will directly use it with the letter. So I'm keeping it little shorter as compared to the Shirorekha, but both the lines have to be of the same size. The first line and the second line are parallel to each other.
We can't hear you.
So I was on mute, sorry. So this is matra I. So I've drawn it little shorter as compared to the Shirorekha, but these two lines have to be of the same size. and you can use them with
Any
any
sample word for this?
Okay, let's use it with b. As mentioned, it won't follow any rule. So this is b, I, and la, bell. You can use this matra with any letter of your choice. Both these, A and I. Okay, I'll move to the next one now. Next is O. This is matra O in Devanagari lipi. This is matra O in Sharada lipi. I'll draw it one more time. So first this is the Shirorekha, and the matra is drawn very close to Shirorekha. If you see here, unlike Devanagari, we have it like this. So it is drawn very close to the Shirorekha.
Please put it with a word.
Just forming some random word here. So this is no O, and I've used another letter here, the. So this is one word, just to show you the usage of matra. And if you want to use it with the, this is how you'll use it. So you will not start the matra from here. So make sure you start the matra like this. For some other letter, let's see it. Her. This is how you'll write the matra along with her. This is with ch. So yeah, one thing I forgot to mention here is when you're writing it with words like these, for example ch, which has a vertical stroke also going down. So if you see the matra, I have used it slightly on the right hand side. It's not exactly on the stroke here. So same goes for O also. Here I forgot to mention basically. So when you're using it with the letters which have a vertical stroke, let me draw it with N again. So slightly away from here. Not too far away, also not here. I will not ask you to draw it like this. Slightly away. It's not exactly on the top of this vertical line. Same goes for ch. With these letters, obviously they don't have any vertical stroke on the right hand side. So this you can place accordingly. But here you'll have to go a little towards the right hand side. And for example, g. 。  . 。  . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 。 . 。 . 。 . . 。 . 。 . 。 。 . . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . slightly away from the vertical stroke. So these matra, particularly O and Ow, you will have to keep this thing in mind. Next one is Ow. This is the matra in Devanagari. Here the shape on the top, it remains same. Now the only thing here is there is going to be a very small shape like this at the bottom. So this shape is basically this that we attach here, but it's a little more narrower as compared to this. What we draw with the letter, that's a bit wide and a bit open. Here what we draw with the matra is little more smaller. I will draw it again. Here, and start it where the tail of this matra ends. Start from there, make a small shape like this. It's a very small shape here at the top, at the bottom here. The shape is similar, but only the thing is smaller in size. What you have here is little bigger and wider and open. Here it's more closed and more narrower, but the shape is same like this. Even if it doesn't get filled, that's okay. If you want to write it like this, is also all right.
Draw it once with pen.
Yeah, that would be better. And if you're writing a letter along with it, as I mentioned earlier, this will go little on the right hand side, and then you write the letter here. So this matra, it's not joining the vertical stroke here, rather joining this shape here. Now we are only left with the Chandrabindu and the Anuswaras and the Visarg. So they don't have any difference. They are written as it is in Devanagari. The matra would remain as it is. This is the matra in Devanagari lipi, and in Sharada we have this inverted one, so they'll remain the same. And this also you can use it with any consonant. Just make sure that it is not covering the entire Shirorekha. It's little shorter, and there is enough Shirorekha from left and right side. And it doesn't join the Shirorekha. It's a little there's a some
Excuse me,
gap.
madam, how do we pronounce it?
Is the Anuswara that for example
Means
Nand,
what is the pronunciation?
the nasal sound Nand.
None.
Chandra, all those sounds.
This is which you have drawn now on
This is non na and this is on top of the.
the
The. The. The se diwar. So these are. This is just the bindu. So I will directly write the matra with a letter. There's not much to explain here. The bindu will remain as it is on top of any letter. You can use it with any letter as it is.
what is the pronunciation?
This is half no sound nun, hun, hum, the anuswara basically, where we have half no and half ma. The pronunciation in Sharada doesn't change. It's the same pronunciation that we use in Sanskrit grammar. Only the writing, the way of writing, the lipi changes. Rest all remains the same as we have in Sanskrit. And the last one, I'm going to write it here itself, is the visarg. So I'm using it directly with the letter, Sharda letter. With any letter you can use the visarg like that.
Is it outside the Shirorekha?
Yes, it's outside the Shirorekha. And so on. So with this we complete all the matras. So you can go through the reference material, the sheet that we will be sharing with you in some time. And if you want to use and form some words, whatever letters I showed here, na, the, ha, cha. So try and exclude ga from whatever matras you are practicing. Don't include ga, don't include ka, bha, da. Whatever I didn't show in the class, I only showed ga for matra o and a. So because that doesn't change the shape. Otherwise don't use ga, just use na, the, ha, cha. Ha you can use. So use it with only these letters. But the matras like this A, for example, this A, I'm using the Devanagari matras I, and also the anuswaras and the visarg, that you can use with any other any letter, any consonant. So any doubts, or should we?
Can I ask you something? Can you give us say 10 words which might be useful for us to use
That,
these?
yes, yeah, we will be sending you the assignment. So from here onwards, from the matras, when we start the matras, we give a practice sheet of words that you do as a practice as an assignment. We'll be sharing the words with you.
Thank you.
The simple words, yes. And also the words without, since we have completed all the consonants and vowels, we'll be giving you simple words without the matras also, and some simple matras that we learned today. All right, so I'll be ending the session here. Thank you very much. And any
Just
doubts
one
you can ask
question.
him. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
one question. The letter R, can that be written with these matras?
I would suggest don't use them now.
Okay, okay. All right, thank you.
Thanks, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.